Hi, everybody. It's Jeffrey. I'm finally back to Tarot Tuesdays. I know it's on a Tuesday, whatever. I have to move forward with the series. And Tarot Wednesdays doesn't exactly fall from the tongue. I hope the lighting is good. It's a little bit cloudy here, so it's hard to judge. It's hard for me to judge, actually. Okay, so Tarot Tuesdays, where I go through the whole deck very early in the deck. So the next card, the last card I did was Death. And I've definitely been through that process. And the next card is Temperance, and I have it here in front of me. Temperance. So it's the card of Sagittarius. It is a 5 because it's a 14. So it means change. 5 means change. It's a really, really beautiful card. It's a really beneficial card. It's very interesting because what I keep on thinking about this card is, because the whole tarot, especially the majors, are it's a road. It symbolizes like the different chapters, the different I don't know, situations that we go through, in a certain order, in a certain, hierarchy, in a certain line, in a certain road. So, death just happened. So the transformation has happened. And sometimes, when we transform so completely, and in the death card, you really transform very dramatically and drastically. It's like, okay, let me get my bearing. Let me calm down. Let me rebalance things. That's what's going on here. I'm rebalancing. And it's the card of Archangel Raphael. And interestingly, I was thinking about it last night. So, all this is my interpretation, blah, blah, blah. The angels show up in other cards too. In the Judgment card, Gabriel shows up, with his horn, but he's up in heaven. He's not really here on earth. And then Uriel, the angel of light, shows up in the lover's card, also up in heaven, you know, granting, blessing, but far away, because, Adam and Eve in the lover's card are in the garden. And then I also interpret the Page of Swords as Archangel Michael. Now he's on the ground, but he's still, yet a page. So he's, not in his angel costume. He's not, because the Page of Swords can have meanings other than Archangel Michael. That's my personal message, my personal meaning. But the Page of Swords is like a new idea, a new inkling, cutting something out, a new way of looking at things, etc. But this is definitely Raphael in full body on the earth and in the water, right? 1 foot in one and 1 foot in the other. So that's the balancing. It's the balancing of emotion and intuition with a grounded aspect. The other thing about the Temperance, it's a really good card. It's really hard to read Temperance as a bad card. So there's an element of patience, because it takes time for the rebalance to happen. There's an element of Archangel Raphael who's really about the heart. I have to put some stuff down because otherwise I'm going to fly away. There's inspiration. There's like, but it's different than it's inspiration. It's different than the inspiration of the star, which is coming up. It's more because the inspiration from the star is kind of like from all the heavens. This is almost like more of a personal inspiration, because it feels like it's a guardian angel. Like either Raphael is a guardian angel or not, but it feels more directed, more personal. Whereas the star card, even though it's also inspiration, is more it's from the heavens. It's from all your guides and angels. It's from your ancestors. It's from the whole lot. This is more like your best buddy saying, this is a really good idea. Why don't you try this? As opposed to, uh, you know, everybody. So it's a little bit more personal. Well, there's an element of comfort. There's an element of happiness. There's an element of of being grounded in spirit. There's a real element of being grounded in spirit, being grounded in one's heart, being grounded in one's inspiration. It's like, yeah, I got an inspiration, but it's grounded in reality. I got an inspiration to do something new with my business. I got an inspiration to try for a job, or it's much more an inspiration that you can take action on in a way. And yeah, it's very purpose driven, and it's just a blessing. I mean, it's as simple as it's just a blessing. It's just a blessing. It's just as simple as that. And the star also is a blessing, but the star, I know I'm talking a lot about the star because they're very similar in a certain way, because they both have one foot on the ground, or one appendage, I should say, because in the star, her knee is on the ground. I should have the card. But this is much more it's almost like a message from your angel, a message from your higher self, a healing, a rebalancing, and there's an energy also of like utilizing, because it's the alchemist too. There's this energy of utilizing maybe a bad experience, or utilizing something from the dark and recombining it with something from the light to make it into something completely new. Because sometimes, like these dark experiences that we go through, or uncomfortable, or etc., it's like, well, that's information, I won't do that again. Or that's information, I'll stay away from this person or that situation. Or it's a little bit of that. It's like, okay, well, I know my boundary, I know my place, I know where I belong, I know where I'm being guided and led into a safe place, into an inspired place, into a guided place, a protected place. Um, yeah, okay. There's an element of patience. There's an element, I didn't want to forget anything. And really what it is, it's effortless flow. It's effortless flow, but it's effortless flow that you can actually take a hold of. Because the Empress also has this energy of effortless flow, but she's just sitting in the garden and letting it happen. Whereas in Temperance, it's like you take hold of it, or you receive the gift, and then you know what to do with it. Whereas the Empress is she's also a little bit far away, right? Because the angels are a little bit closer to us than the gods and goddesses, and the Empress is Venus, right? Well, she's kind of a combination of Venus and Mother Earth, but uh, this is more like a personal understanding. That's the way it feels. And the other thing that's been coming to me lately, now the sun comes. I know I'm supposed to have the sun in front of me, but then it's just too much. It feels good on my back though. The other thing about the Emperor, about the Temperance card is it's like you're involved. It's not a faraway thing. It's not. It's more of you're involved. So it's this energy, and I've been talking a lot about this. Is like, okay, I just went through the transformation in the Death card, right? And now I'm into this new phase where I'm bringing in a new energy and I'm rebalancing it. And I'm willing to call out to my guardian angel in a personal way to say, can you help me rebalance this? Show me the way. But I have to be willing to ask. I have to be willing to take the action. I have to be willing to have one foot in the water and one foot on the earth. Right. So one foot in my inspiration, in my intuition, in my feelings, and the other one grounded in reality. It's not this far away thing. I mean, it's an angel, but it's almost like your own personal guardian angel, your own personal guide, your own personal. It's like the love that you have for yourself on the spiritual realm comes through, and whispers, or guides, or heals, or comforts, See, not energy of comfort in this card. And also because it's really yellow, there's a lot of yellow going on here. Yellow is always about optimism and happiness. So the crown chakra is a lid. This could also be the because it's yellow, it could also be the it depends on the reading, they're always changing. It could also be the solar plexus, which is really where I hold my will, or we hold our will. And the energy of the solar plexus is I have, right? I desire on one end, and I have, like it's already there. I desire healing. I already have healing. I desire, new place to live. I already have a new place to live. It's like that. Because all the chakras really relate to a different verb. So, like the root chakra would be I am. The second chakra, the sacral center, the orange one, would be I feel. And then the next one is either I desire or I have, which is the solar plexus, which is right, it's here at the middle of your belly, yellow. And then, then it's the heart, which is I love, I receive, I deserve, I have. So it's a combination of the head, the crown, I have, the solar plexus. And then, these irises, yellow is always optimism and happiness, and it's a bright, sunny day. Sometimes you just have to pay attention to as it's simple as it's a bright, sunny day. All is well. All is balanced. All is, because temperance is really about, yeah, I could eat the cookie, but I'm not going to eat the whole box, right? I'm going to go on a vacation, but I'm not going to empty the bank account just to go on the vacation. There's this element of not in this sense of being satisfied. It's kind of like I went on vacation, but I didn't have to stay at like the 4-star resort. I stayed at like a nice place and I had a wonderful time. It not this overly, like I didn't overdo it. I didn't overdo it. Like, sometimes you go to a restaurant or whatever, and you had enough. It's like, yeah, I'm satisfied, and it's time to relax. Whatever you want to do afterwards. So maybe go to a movie afterwards. Maybe we're just going to go for a walk in the park afterwards. Whatever. Maybe we're just going to go home. You know, or you're going to go for a stroll. Like after the meal, let's say it's in a little cute town. It's like we're going to go for a stroll, and if there's an ice cream store and they're open, and I feel like ice cream, I'll have it. But I don't have to have. There's not this element of. There's an element of being satisfied, of being healed, of being in balance, of being led, of hope, of happiness, of comfort, and of being in the flow, but not forcing the flow, just being in it, being of the flow, right? Being of the flow, not I'm going to force my will on something and it's going to go my way. It's like, no, I'm just in the flow of, I'm at a lovely party and they happen to come by, but like my favorite appetizer. And like they just happen to pass by me. So as they're passing by, I'm going to take one and eat it. And, yum, yum, yum. It's not, I'm going to stand by the kitchen door so I can, eat the whole tray. I did catering a few times, not that much, but depending, sometimes that's the way it would be. Like, I mean, there are certain groups that were so like uptight. They're like, no, but there were other groups who were like, yeah, like the meatballs are the best thing that comes out of the kitchen. And we're standing by the kitchen door waiting for you to bring the meatballs, And if they were smart, they'd throw the waiters a tip. It's like, go get those meatballs. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll get meatballs for an extra $20. Sure, I'll go get meatballs, whatever you want. It's a funny memory to have. So overall, it's a really lovely, lovely, loving card. And And I feel like personally, because I feel like as I read the cards that I'm going through the whole process, it feels like I'm being rebalanced here. It really does. So that's my Tarot Tuesdays. I might do a daily video for today. I don't know. And if you're interested in IET, which is a healing modality, IET is it's similar to Reiki, but it's more personal. So what happens is you ask for what you'd like to receive. We do a Zoom call. You ask for what you'd like to, if I could change, shift, manifest, or create anything in my life, what would it be? If you could in your life, what would it be? And we call on your angels and my angels, and your guides, my guides, and your elemental, my elemental, and bring them together. The energy comes through, and then I put it through. And then what would you like to release? No one ever has a problem with that one. But the question is asked in the order of what would you like to receive and what would you like to let go of first. And then I do pendulum work, which is really an offshoot of it, but it's more personal. And we do a Zoom call, and I use a pendulum and like what's blocking and where is it blocked. Then we pull the block out and we imprint the opposite. And I offer tarot readings and tarot classes and pendulum classes. So be in touch if you're interested, and like, subscribe, share. And I'll be getting much more serious about doing Tarot Tuesdays, which is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, more regularly. Blessings. See you soon.